It is time for Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. Every week, every Saturday morning at 8:30 at this time, Independent Bank is our sponsor of a half hour of conversation with people who are making things happen in the community. Katy, Huckle is my co-host, and I don't know in the 5.5+ years that we've been doing this show who our most frequent flyer is.
He's one of them.
But Mike Kelso has to be in the top 5.
He is.
Yeah.
I'm a regular.
Yeah.
Well, he's a regular.
I
And
don't
you
say
are
norm when I walk in, but it's close.
You are our Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers. Whoa.
Norm. No, but it really is, like I told Mike in the parking lot, we can't wait to hear about your outreach, because it just seems like our local YMCA just keeps getting better and better. I feel that way, and I know you do too.
Yeah. How are you, Mike?
I'm good. I'm never bored. We're always something happening, always something going that's great, something going that's challenging, and the years are flying by.
The main reason why we had you in here is because we're only about 5 weeks or so away from Dancing with the Y Stars.
Yes.
So that's the big fundraiser for the Y for the year. So I think we need to start there.
Oh, absolutely.
How's that going?
It's going, the calendar is turned to September, and I'm acutely aware of how many days we have left. Things are going well, but there's a lot to do, and there's certain things you can only do in those last weeks or days, so it's always going to be intense. But we have an awesome team, a committee of volunteers, like everyone knows their part, and we have creative little twists each year, it seems like, that are very nice, so I really rely on them. I'm kind of a logistics business guy, and they're like the creatives,
yes.
And we all work together well with that. And so we've got a great cast, a lot of young professionals, which I love to see, and meeting people I don't know, and I know a lot of people because they're just kind of up and coming professionals, which is really cool.
Aw.
It would seem to me like as many years as this has been done, that it would be a well-oiled machine at this point.
Yes. So
Okay.
This is year 14, and a lot of pieces are a well-oiled machine. But we also introduce a whole new group of people to it each year. So in that sense, it's new to them, and that's part of what makes the event fun. It's a new cast, and it also brings a new audience a bit, because there's the folks that are there every year because they're just going to be at those events and they're supportive of the Y. But then that new cast brings new guests for the event and new people to introduce to the Y a little bit further.
And Mike, I will dovetail with that and tell you that it brings new passion to the Y also, because as these dancers are recruited, then they kind of start hanging out with, Y folks, the cast, each other, and all of a sudden, one of the big pieces to being resilient in life is having a sense of purpose. And so, like you said, young professionals, they're busy. They're raising kids. They're busy in their careers. And all of a sudden, they're just taking a minute to do this super cool thing. And after talking to them upon completion, there isn't one that won't tell you that was an incredible experience. I grew from that as a dancer and a performer.
Yep. Yeah, it's really cool. So, for people that don't know, it's essentially it's a fundraiser, but it is a competition underlying, kind of like that TV show where people dance. And so that competitive element, that artistry, we have great partnership with the Landy Dance Academy and a lot of folks from the Cadillac Footlighters, which really helps it be a quality show. I'm not a showman. They're the ones that put the dazzle and the sparkle on it for sure. And their commitment to helping us with that is great. Yeah, and the cast members, they, are excited about the idea, but they're super nervous at first because, who are they going to dance with? Do they know them or not? And they're not dancers. They may have danced at their wedding, or maybe, have a good time at ladies' night or whatever with their friends. But
maybe some of them don't dance until they've had a little liquid encouragement.
And that is strictly prohibited before you hit the stage.
I'll talk to Sally about that.
That's
She'll get
right.
all fired up.
But our choreographers, most of which are from the Landing, and a few other folks from the community, really work well with them, and they're their coaches and encouragers as well as the technical part of it. And so they become a team within our team of 8 different couples that dance. And so they're out there practicing all summer, and this is the time of year they're closing the deal on selling tickets and sponsorships, and that helps them potentially win the People's Choice Award because it is a fundraiser. So whoever sells the most tickets, gets the most sponsorships, wins that part of the competition.
So there is a competition within the competition
Yes.
every year.
Yep. So there's 2 awards. The People's Choice Awards, which basically means they sold the most tickets, they got the most votes. Votes are $5. Vote early, vote often, as I always say. And sponsorships. And the other part is the Judges' Choice. So we have 3 judges, led by Lindsay Rumor from Landing Dance Academy. And that's truly based on the performance of their dance. So yeah, and we always have a great variety. It kind of works out that way. We monitor that, but we have everything from tap to ballroom to jazz to interpretive. It's just a great show.
I'm smiling because, people in the audience get so invested in this. And so there have been times, like when Alicia Elmore won both. There have been years when they won the People's Choice and the Judge's Choice. But typically, the People's Choice. So last year it was, Brad Dornbos and Carrie Lorenz, who owns the Timbers with her husband Shane. And it was so fun. She is a professional volleyball player. Okay. So here she is out there dancing, looked like $1 million. She and Brad were quite the couple. And they won the People's Choice. And then our friend from the Convention and Visitors Bureau with a band director got up there and did tap and won the Judge's Choice.
Which is very challenging to do tap. We're like, are you sure?
She wanted to tap classes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they were not messing around. Anyway, so as an audience member, I think it's fun to know, look, this is a fundraiser for the YMCA. So yes, we've got to raise some money tonight. But you also have Lindsay Rumor, who is a professional ballerina, no joke, and owner and founder of the Landing Dance Academy, saying, here's the dance here was the best dance. So you've got both. And then the momentum and energy of the night, too.
So your couples, so they get together initially, they meet with their choreographer. Is their choreographer assigned to them, or do they have a role in choosing who their choreographer is?
We make all the matches of the team. So
okay.
We usually start recruiting the volunteers, the dancers and the choreographers. A lot of us confirming the choreographers in March. We try to get in April and May all those folks committed and solidified. So we let them know who their dance partner is going to be, but they don't find out who their choreographer is going to be until the kickoff dinner, which is usually the first week of June.
Okay.
So then, we have a dinner, they meet, kind of make a game plan, go over all the rules and information, and then basically over the summer, they meet independently and pick their song, what their style is, and get their steps laid out so many seconds at a time to get up to a 2.5 minute dance performance ready.
Can't you tell how technical he is? I just love it.
I will tell you this, Katy. Maybe you don't know this, but Dave Johnson came to me in March and said, "Will you do this?"
Okay, what, you're bringing this up now in September?
But I had to politely decline because I need to shed about 7 or 8 jobs before I could ever have time to dedicate to this.
But you would be so good.
Oh my God!
Because you would be in such a different space. I'll tell you what, I'll buy a ticket. You do it.
I will tell you, it must, as much as I feel about it, it has to be totally out of the comfort zone of many contestants.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure. And that takes that recruiting process. We get a lot of people that get excited about the idea of it. And then we really talk to them about what it involves, and then because it is a commitment.
It is a big commitment.
Yeah, I mean, they're practicing at least once a week, sometimes a little more if they got to catch up or depending on what they're doing. But yeah, I'm really going to go on stage. I'm really going to be in front of this many people. But once they move beyond that, and I say, listen, again, mostly it's young professionals or people into their career, maybe, they're into that core of life of job, a family maybe, or whatever. I'm like, what's the new experience you're going to have in your life now? They're like, I'm working now for the next 30, 40 years. Right. What's the last time you experienced something new or did something new? Like, I've been past that for a few years. I'm like, this is the thing, right? So as an adult,
is this how your recruiters sell it?
Sometimes, okay. Sometimes. And it's, hey, what are you doing to get involved with the community and give back? And, if they're, especially in a career where they're trying to get their own brand developed and beyond just what their job is, like who they are as a person, connect it to their career and their workplace a bit. This is a way to get deeper involved in the community for the community's benefit and for their benefit too.
It is. There's so many fun stories in talking to dancers over the years, and you can practice as much or as little as you want, but you've got to know you're going to be up in front of 800 people. Mm-hmm. And so if you decide that you want to, slack off, that's fine.
But the more you practice, the better you're going to be.
It is. And I'll never forget when Pat Goggin, whoever thought that Pat would be able to get up there and dance at the level that he did, but he had Alicia Elmore, who was a nationally ranked 1,500 meter runner, as his dance coach. And they were very good friends. And she was relentless about the practices. There were neighbors, and she held him accountable, and he wanted to learn, and they turned it into something fun. And there was a friendship that developed. And I can tell you, so many of these dancers end up being lifelong friends, And then you get your people. This is a hysterical story. I was flying home from Minnesota, visiting my parents on the Canadian boundary waters there, and my phone rang and I went to voicemail. And before I got on my plane, I called. It was Jason Burton, who owns a construction company, great builder locally, and I knew that he had entered the competition. He was going to be dancing, and he knew that I'd been involved with it for years. As he answers the phone and he says, "Future champion of Dancing with the Y Stars." That's how he answered his phone. And we were about 3 weeks out, and I said, "You might want to slow your roll with that." He won.
So
he put his mind to it.
He spoke it into existence.
Confidence is key.
But yeah, it is. But again, it's fun to these coaches to really, they help their people, and if you talk to them, they'll say, they might think they look like X, and so when they have someone take a video of them in rehearsal, it's really good for them to see that video, because they might say, and we thought we were better than we were, or we are better than we thought we were. It's coming together. So yeah, it's just a huge growing experience. And again, every year the choreographers and coaches get thanked, because they're the ones year after year that are putting in so much time, and the dancers, or the dance coaches.
So this is the 14th,
yes.
Mike. How many choreographers have done 10 years or more?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. A good handful.
Yeah.
I'll miss somebody when I'm saying this, but I'm pretty sure Alicia Elmore and Bridget Coffey have done all the years.
Okay, 14 for 14.
I believe so. Because I wasn't really around intricately in the early years. So there's many others that have maybe taken a year off here or there.
Isabel's in there, I would say.
Isabel, yep, she's taken a year off. Like, she's not doing it this year, but she's done most of the years too. Yep, she's right up there. And what's really cool now, it's been 14 years. Like, we've got some of the choreographers that were students of like Lindsay or Bridget, or college students, and then moved back to the community. Mackenzie Gabbera's one. Like, she's taken a little bit off, but she's back again this year. And she was, I think, in college when we started this thing, and now she's a big part of the landing with Lindsay.
Yes.
So yeah, it's we definitely have a bigger, better talent pool of dancers and choreographers in our community than we should for our size. But I think that's a lot. I give a lot of that credit to Lindsay and what she's developed with the Landing Dance Academy, and she's unearthed that or drawn it over the years of establishing that, and we're definitely benefiting from that.
I think it's maybe one, if not the one of the biggest charity events of the year in the entire town. What would you say?
Yeah, it's probably the number of people that we draw for sure. Yep.
And so the money that's raised from that night, what does it go to? What do you use it for?
Yeah, so most of it we use for our financial assistance for Y membership. So, we're a nonprofit organization. We have a 32,000 square foot facility with a pool and gym and fitness center, and a membership fee that, not everybody can afford, but we have to set a rate that we can use to sustain the operation. But our mission is that everyone has access to the Y. The Y is for all, no matter your income level or any other dimension of diversity. And so we think the services and the programs that the Y has can benefit everybody, and we want everyone to have access to that regardless of income. So reduced membership rates, so it's just based on income and number of dependents in the household so that we can be open to all. And a lot of our youth outreach program, youth development's a big part of what we do, and so we provide a lot of programming for free for youth, so it helps support all that. Because we think, we have a lot of programs that are unique, especially in aquatics programs and so in youth development, and you have to, pay your way and pay for things you want to do. But if we can just uplift a family or a youth by helping them out a little bit financially, that's a great investment.
It's a huge investment.
And so that's why we want everyone to have that opportunity to be lifted up to better themselves, not just those that can pay the sticker price.
What's the biggest year? What was your biggest year so far?
I think the most we ever raised was in the 70-ish thousand.
Wow.
We typically sit between 45 to 65. I think since COVID, we're in that 45 to 65 range. So, and that doesn't quite cover our scholarshiping for the year, but it's a big chunk of it. And we have some other ways we raise money as well.
And in a town the size of Cadillac, that is a chunk of money.
Yeah. Yep. The community shows up for us and other nonprofits. I think that's one of the strengths of our community. We're big enough to have some resources, but we're small enough that everybody sees every segment of our community and families. And those that have been successful see those that maybe are struggling, and for the most part, find ways to support that. And doing that through the Y is a big thing.
Mike, let's talk about our elderly community, our elderly population.
Yeah.
Our retired folks that they want a sense of community. They're trying to be healthy, and I know there's programs for them because I've been in the YMCA when they come in and they're meeting their buddies and they're going.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the key programs that I think fit that population would be our Senior Fit program and our water fitness classes, especially our arthritis foundation classes. And so those are just programs that are geared towards a body that's got a few more miles on it and maybe accumulated some ailments and some aches and pains. And so it's adapted well for that to help people just maintain independence in lifestyle and sometimes to improve their health or recover from an event, a health event of some sort. And that's what most people see and is typical. But especially with the Senior Fit program and really all the fitness programs, the social support and kind of mental health piece of having a community around that activity is huge. Our Senior Fit program, for example, a lot of those folks show up 20, 30 minutes ahead of class time because that's when they're going to connect and talk. And then there's plans of where they're going to go have a cup of coffee or lunch afterwards. So, and looking out for each other, and little cards they're giving each other. And that's the stuff that goes beyond just the fitness part. That's really cool.
Right. And when someone doesn't show up, we missed you on Tuesday. Where were you, friend? That kind of stuff. It just gets such a warm and fuzzy feeling. I giggle about Mike's open door policy in the green light. You got to tell everybody about your. No, I mean,
office.
This should go into like a business magazine. How you manage this.
Well, I kind of did it out of. So what Katie's referring to is my office is in the middle of the Y building, so I don't have a window to the outdoors, but I have a window to the hallway, which is right outside our group exercise room, which is right outside some restrooms that our preschool kids use. There's a bench there. They stand up on the window and peeking at me, which is super cute. But I want to be able to be accessible to folks and people to walk in. But when COVID happened, we really got into a lot of online meetings and Zoom meetings, so I'm often in my office by myself having a meeting over a camera, and people don't realize it, so they would just walk in while I'm addressing 25 people on a camera for a really awkward situation. So I got a little green light. If it's green, there's a little sign that says, come on in, I'm happy to talk to you. If it's red, it says, I'm in a meeting, please see the front desk, so that we don't have as many awkward walk-ins during Zoom meetings.
Right.
Have you ever inadvertently left the green light on when you needed to have the red light on?
I am, well, it kind of has a mind of its own, supposedly connect to my calendar, but then it times out or I forget to do something. So, yeah, but it definitely mitigated that.
Okay.
Bit, so, yeah.
Mike, if money was no object, and I know you've got growing pains at the Y. I mean, you're ready to go bigger, be bigger. But if money was no object, what next?
So we built our building based on serving 1,200 households, around 3,000 people. It took us some years to ramp up to that, but since 2018, for most of the last 7 years, minus 2020 and 2021, we've been serving 1,300 to 1,600 households, 4,000 plus people. So we're really outgrowing our space, which, we're serving a lot of people and we're very happy, and a lot of people are very happy to be served. But what's hard is we see the needs growing and how we can serve people further, and we just don't have the space to do it, even the things that we're already doing. So one example of that would be our childcare. So the building was not designed to be a licensed childcare center, but we quickly started doing that after we opened, after the need revealed itself further. So we have preschool, childcare, child watch, so you can just have your kids for an hour or two while you do a yoga class. We don't have enough little person potties. We have to march them down the hallway to the big person potties, and moving a group of 3 or 4 year olds is an event every time you do it. Right, so we have one good potty in the back.
Do you have a rope that they have to like what we've seen those sometimes?
We use that at times. Usually, once they get into it and they get a routine down, that isn't needed, or if they're going outside or an unusual space, but not to go to the bathroom. That's a common all the time thing.
Sure.
Yep. So that's just an example. Our space is not designed for childcare, so our staff do a great job and we're very creative, but it makes it a challenge operationally. Our teen program, we served a small group of teens before we opened our building, and then when we opened our building, we were serving 50, 60 teens a day after school. Wow. And 600 plus different kids we'll see in a school year in a fairly small room. We need more space for that, to do more than just a few activities and drop in and snack and homework help and all that stuff, which is great and fulfilling a need. There's just so much more that they need from us that we don't have space to do, to have another room to break out and do that. So so we've got that need to expand at the same time of our building's now 15 years old. Some of the big infrastructure pieces of like roof and HVAC units and parking lot have about a 20 to 25 year lifespan. So we're looking in the next 5 to 10 years, those are some big ticket items that we need to replace. And that comes with the big price tag. So we're trying to prepare for that, building endowment and those types of things. So, and that's, we've done a lot, we've gained a lot of momentum, but that is not the YMCA's building. That's not Mike's building. That's the community's building, because the community paid for that, built that, invested in it. So we want to be good stewards of it and take care of it. So we're really trying to position ourselves for that.
What I love about where the Y is located, and that was built on a piece of land that was donated by Baker College, right?
Yes. Yep.
It was built in a way that it can be expanded eventually, pretty much on any side, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, a lot of metropolitan-wise really challenged with their property size. But yeah, we're in a good big lot, and now positioned, just seeing how the community's developed outside of the city into the townships. We're in a good place to serve Missaukee County as well as Wexford County, and the development that's happened there off 55 in Crosby. So yeah, we have space to go out in three or four sides of our building pretty well.
When we talk about capital improvements and a major endowment, hopefully in a fundraising campaign, how much money are we talking about?
Yeah, so we did a bit of a feasibility study last summer for a potential $5 million campaign, and that would be adding about 9,000 square feet, and also taking care of some of those maintenance long-term needs of the current facility, and adding a bit to endowment too, to ensure as soon as we build that, we're getting ready to take care of it. Because that's the biggest challenge for YMCAs and nonprofits that have a large building that has expensive pieces like pools. Debt is a big deal. When we don't have any debt, we got rid of our debt in 2018 thanks to Baker College stepping up again in a big way in our history, and deferred maintenance. And we've done over $800,000 in maintenance and updates in the last 5 years.
Incredible.
But we have a lot more coming in those 5 to 10 years. So staying on top of that is key. So it's a balancing act of, you see a bigger need, you want to do more, and I think we're kind of expected to do more based on we're fulfilling these needs for the last 15, 20 years. The Y is the place for those things. We need to be able to do more of it. We also need to take care of what we got. So,
well, and anyone who owns a home, the three of us, for example, no, I mean you can't buy your house and sit back. I mean, you got to take care of it.
Right.
So
exactly.
it makes sense. But to any of our listeners that are thinking about, writing a big check, I would say this is a worthwhile place to spend your money.
Sure is. Sure is. So we've talked about Dancing with the Y Stars. We haven't talked about the date.
Oh,
we
yes.
haven't talked about the location. We need to talk about, and we probably don't want to mention any couples' names because we don't want to favor anyone over anyone else.
That's right.
But tell us where and when, and tickets, and give us the information.
yes. So, second Saturday of October every year, which happens to be October 11th this year. And it's at the Wex, right at, 13th Street and Mitchell. And tickets are best to get them through our dancers. And if you go to our website under our events tab, you'll see Dancing with the Y events and this whole cast list there. So if you know somebody on that list, get a ticket from them because that helps them with the People's Choice Awards. And then you can also vote for them too. So if you can't come to the event, you can $5 a vote, vote early, vote often there. So
can that financial voting be done
yes.
right now?
Yep, that is live right now. Yep,
Okay.
that is live now. And there's a ticket request link there too. So if you don't know one of the dance couples, you can make a request for tickets there, and that goes to me at the Y, and then we try to get you hooked up and connected. But we really try to let the dancers get their connections and supporters there, and then we connect those to other folks as those requests come in.
And Rich, I would like to say to any of our audience members and anyone who might be sitting in the studio, if you step up and dance, I've talked to these dancers for years. I'm telling you, it is a game changer, even for someone like you who's been in front of people for years, just mostly on the mic,
That's right.
I have the face for radio.
I'm telling you, I promise you the bank will step up with a sponsorship if you do this. Because I have girlfriends, and we talk about this, like, okay, who's going to dance? Who's going to step up? Because Pat Geigen was the ultimate recruiter. He was very difficult to say no to. And not one person that he recruited in all those years, because this was sort of his baby. He and Dan Smith put this thing together. And again, the spirit of collaboration lives on in Cadillac, because here we had the director of the Y and the director of the United Way. And Pat spent a lot of time making sure that the event was show-worthy, a true showman, especially with the help of Sally putting on major productions, which is what this has turned into, and it just keeps growing and getting better. So when we see a name that people might know, you watch, more people will buy tickets. I mean, no pressure. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna say, Mike, after 14 years, the recruitment must be more difficult because you've grabbed all the people, the well-known folks that you can, or are there more out there? Are there more stones left to be unturned?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think the obvious choices were hitting those first few years, but like I said, up and coming professionals, and we were just waiting for this person to be in the right point of life to do it. And that point of life might be coming for Rich. I think people need to meet the person behind the microphone. I mean, the voice is iconic.
It's right.
And you know what, Rich?
Stop.
They put me up on stage, get me all gussied up, looking good once a year, and that is pretty hard to do. I'm sure we can glamour you up too.
Mike does a great job.
I will tell you, I did host. I hosted the initial one. You and I did.
Yeah,
I think.
year one.
Yeah.
That's a must then.
Yep. See, better than ever. He's coming back bigger and better than ever.
All right.
But
We've started our campaign for Rich right now.
We have.
Gosh.
I will tell you this too. I think this is key. Is your choreographer meets you where you're at and grows from there.
See, that's one of the things that I was wondering about. The choreographer. Does the choreographer meet the two people and then come up with a plan, or is the plan already there and they have to fit into it?
Well, kind of both.
Okay.
And it just depends on the choreographer and their style. And we've learned that and try to make good matches of choreographers and dancers. Like some folks like Isabel, she wants to do Latin. So we're going to make sure somebody who wants to do Latin hopefully is with them. So yeah, we and they're got a whole team of people trying to help those dancers be successful. Right. So that's what it's about. And so yeah, we can make it happen.
October 11th,
Yes.
2025. Get your tickets now. Mike, tell you what, let's extend this by a few minutes. Anything coming up in the calendar year before the first and 2026 greets us that you have going on at the Y that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so a couple endeavors we're working on to get rolled out by the end of the year, maybe the first of the year. We're making some adjustments to our financial aid process. So the economics of the world have been pretty topsy-turvy for people, just on an individual household level, how things cost you more, what pay levels are, that type of thing. So, and we notice it operationally as an organization, but we're revamping our financial aid process, really looking at what's called the ALICE population rather than poverty level. So ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constraint Employed, right? So
The working part.
we want somebody who they're able to work, they're doing their best to support themselves and their family, but that extra cost that isn't just food, shelter, housing, because housing's gotten so expensive, food's gotten so expensive, want them to be able to afford to be at the Y. So we're adjusting our scale to try to capture a good portion of those folks. And ALICE population is based on a whole national statistics that actually United Way does nationally, and they drill it down right down to county data that anybody can get. 42% of Wexford County residents are in the ALICE threshold or below. So we're serving a lot of those people, but we realize we're missing some of them, and so we want to adjust some things so the opportunity is there for everybody.
Okay.
Wow, well, that was
good to
I
know.
learned something, didn't you?
Yeah. And we went over time, but it was worth finding that out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, man about town, I have to tell you, Mike Kelso uses no notes, folks.
No
notes. So we
Didn't even look at his phone the whole time.
We went through data, statistics, acronyms, all these different things, and it's just in there. It's in there. He's living it. He's breathing it. The green light for Mike Kelso. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Make sure that you write that down in your calendar for October 11th. Mike Kelso, Executive Director of the Cadillac Area YMCA, our guest this morning on Cadillac Unscripted. Katy, we'll see you next week for more local chat
Can't wait.
here on 107.9 CDY, sponsored by Independent Bank.